So guys, welcome back to another Patreon process walkthrough video. This piece is the particular piece that I made for the set for this month, and so I will try to be explaining this one just like we usually do. And for this particular piece, I'll try to explain more on how to do a better composition. And yeah, that's what this particular piece will be about. And this character, she's the character we drew, the new black character we drew last time. And yeah, so I decided to make an illustration for our first before I move on to the second character with white hair. And yeah, so this is Tammy. So let's get into it. So, this is the first piece that I made, and I'm going to be explaining this one first. So, for this character, what in the initial idea for this character was like I wanted a character with this sort of like a semi surreal, sort of a dark lightning type stuff. She's in this sort of like environment of like a destroyed train station, or this sort of like a very dark alley in a way, and so that's what inspired this character. I wanted to make her to be like a mercenary, maybe aftermath of a fight scene. And so I tried out some couple of different type of poses, but I never got that one right, so then I decided to land on this one. So for this particular one, I decided to make a pull up hoodie. So cause when I first drew her all together, when the hoodie wasn't on, it actually looked a bit too open. It makes the piece looks a bit too open, nor as semi surreal as what I actually wanted. And so that was actually a problem, so I had to solve that case. So then I decided, I had an idea, maybe I should just like pull on a jacket and then pull up a hoodie. And so that's how I got this pose. And like she stabs her sword to the ground. I already drew this type of pose before, but like this type of particular pose was done in a piece that I made like 2 years ago or something like that, for a samurai character. And this character, she's supposed to be holding, like, what's it called, she's supposed to be holding a dagger. It's supposed to be like a dagger. She's straight the dagger straight forward to us like this. But I didn't actually like the way the a dagger was looking really too short. It was really too short, because naturally it's actually supposed to I wanted the dagger to be like a long type of dagger, but since it actually looks a bit weird, so I decided to cancel that one, then gave her a samurai sword. And so moving from this particular concept idea for building up the character. So as I was saying, I'm going to teach you guys about composition. So when composing your character, the first thing you must actually know is you must know where the type of mood you want to actually convey in a character. The first thing, mood, the mood you want to actually convey in a character. So when I'm sorry, I think my phone is lagging a little bit. So as I was saying, when conveying the mood of a character, you must the mood of a character actually depends on the type of lighting and shadow you're using. If I had used like a warmer shadow, warmer color, like should I say very bright warm color, like a sunny day type of color, this character wouldn't actually look like a villain. Like she actually looks quiet, like a bad guy person. She actually looks right here. So like I said, mood actually depends on the type of lighting you actually using on the character. So from there, you must actually pick a particular mood you want your overall piece to you want to lay your overall piece on, and so that will actually help you a lot when you building a composition for your characters. So from creating mood of a character, you have to know the type of lighting you're using. There's something called controlled lighting and atmospheric lighting. Controlled lighting is this type of lighting that I'm actually using right here, where I decided to stylize the type of lighting I'm using, like putting like this sort of like blue sort of colors, blue sort of a bit of orangish type of color on the character's skin tone to make it pop out, to make it look cinematic. Meanwhile, if I was actually using like an atmospheric lighting, the shadows of the character will actually be loose. We have a lot more of a diffused type of lighting in the scene. It wouldn't actually make this character pop out in the most cinematic way. So she's going to blend more together with the background. So that's what atmospheric lighting is actually mostly all about. So for this particular piece, I use a bit of a controlled lighting and a bit of an atmospheric lighting, but I use more of it like a control line in it. So for this particular part, I didn't actually, so to explain the challenge that I faced in the particular part was like I actually didn't really know what I actually wanted to add in the background, but I knew already I wanted a dark, really dark gritty type of background. So I decided to just put in the grayscale for the character, putting this sort of like colors from different area, putting a sort of like this dark grayscale sort of color from different area. So from there I moved to adding a bit more of colors to the character's skin tone. So for this particular part, I actually wanted the character to look a bit, this skin to look a bit much more warm and also look cold in a way. So what I'm actually trying to say is like, if you look at the color skin of the character, I made it a little bit like deep dark brown, a dark sort of brown skin with this sort of lightning coming from the back across here, so it's the character's arm at the back. So that actually shows a bit of coolness of this sort of like coldness in this sort of environment. So in this sort of background we actually wanted to, what I actually wanted to convey with this background was this sort of like an evening, sort of evening lightning where we it's like almost raining. So when it's almost raining, we have this sort of like a bluish sort of gray, a bluish sort of gray type of color. So we go like a bluish sort of gray type of color. So I decided to use that sort of composition altogether to make this character's skin tone look cold and also warm in a way, to composite the entire background together. So when you're actually trying to composite, the first thing I said you should look at is the mood. So you have to choose a particular type of color that you want it to dominate the entire caliber of the character's entire scene you're creating. So that's what I actually added for this particular part. And so moving from there to this part, I just wanted the background to feel full, like a little bit much more gritty type of background. So I decided to add this sort of like little bit of much more details of like wires from this sort of rooftop going down to that particular part. And so from that stage, so of course like I'm actually really actually saying all of this process talking really fast, so I don't really take you guys time, and so I would actually be able to save this process walkthrough video. And yeah, so from this particular part I just wanted the background to feel much more gritty in a way, so that's the reason why I add this sort of like loose wires to the background. And when I got to this particular point, I didn't really know how what to put down here, so it was actually a quite intense piece for me. But this piece was actually really, wait a minute, I'm actually using the word really low. So this piece was actually really intense for me to do, because like I didn't really have like this sort of like a perfect reference for what I was actually looking for, because I don't know, it's not actually really possible to see perfect reference for the type of imagination you go up in your head. So the first thing I told you when you creating a character composition is you should look for the mood of the entire thing you want to convey. So that mood helps you convey this sort of like that lightning help you convey the mood you're trying to aim for. And they actually use that when you look at the movies you watch. So movies, when you watch like a horror movie, the lighting is much more pale and a bit dark, so even when no one tells you it's a horror movie, you actually notice, well, this seems a bit gory in a way. So that's what I'm actually trying to tell you guys. You should look at the mood of the concept you're creating. And the second thing is you should know when to stop, because when it comes to rendering, what a lot of beginner eyes artists actually makes a little mistake with is like they actually mistakenly, when they are coloring their paintings, they don't know when to stop. When you had this sort of like, you had blue light coming from here, this light coming from there, and this light coming from top, then they eat everything all together, then their painting looks muddy in a way. So in a way you must actually know when to hold back and when to control your lighting, because sometimes when you think about compositing the character, you actually want to use this sort of all of the lightning in all of the background and stuff on the character, then your painting actually ends up looking muddy in a way. So you must be careful when you doing compositions like that. And the third thing is like at this particular point of the painting, I just started adding much more details to the character, since I know where the character is heading to. I know where the composition and everything in this particular piece is going to. I felt a little bit much more happy when I got to this particular point to do than when I was in the first stage, when I didn't actually know what I was actually doing. So for this particular part of the painting, I just started adding much more details. There's nothing too crazy about it. And look at it down here, I added like exit, but it actually looks a bit weird in a way. Like there's exits on their leg. It's it didn't actually quite work. And so moving from there, cause like we are about like 12 minute in this video already, and I don't want to waste you guys time, and I want to be able to save this video. And yeah, so for this second for this, so this is the final result I got. I don't know why my head is a little bit crowded in some way, a little bit, but I hope you guys understand more about what I was actually trying to explain to you guys about composition and everything. And now, so this is the final result we got. Actually be much more happy with it, even though I wished I could have actually done a little bit much more better job when it comes to composing the entire area of the character, because I want this I want you to learn, I also want to learn to use much more of like an atmospherical lighting, so my characters would actually be much more engraved in the background than coming forward to the foreground in a way. I hope you guys get what I'm saying. So now let's move to the second set. So guys, this is the second piece. So for this particular second piece, you know, the first character we got are in this sort of like a badass camera angle, in this sort of like a villain sort of bad guy type character in that pose. And so I decided to make these also like a casual normal pose overall. Like she has this soft side and a bad side, so in a way you guys can actually also try doing that for your character. Show the bad side of the character of this sort of like a badass, and show the good side. In a way you draw the character in a very two different type of way. I think that can actually also help when creating a character. So when you're a character designer, so let's start with the process. So for this particular piece, so as I said, I just wanted the character be to be the just casual lady character right here. So for this particular one, like I started by choosing like a very strong composition where like where the character is like the focal point, like placed slightly off the center, like to keep the scene dynamic in a way. So I made sure like the background pass. So for this particular piece, before I even moved to the background, so I made sure the character is like the focal point for this particular piece. But I wanted to do this sort of like a little bit of this sort of like background. Let me show you guys. Let me use the right pen. So I wanted the background to be like this. We got this sort of like buildings down here. So we got like this sort of small little buildings down there, and yeah, so we got this sort of like street light coming down from there, street lights there. So that was what I was actually really I don't really know why I'm using the word really. So that was actually what I was aiming for. So from that part, so that was actually what I was aiming for until I started with adding colors to the character. I didn't first wanted to use grayscale for this one because I didn't really know maybe I'm actually going to be able to paint this character in the way I actually wanted so to do. So for this particular part, nothing too mad about it, so I just like mine just added what's it called base colors to the characters outfit. Then at this particular point I just started adding much more details to the outfit. I decided to first paint the hair firstly, and add this sort of like texture of this sort of like skin tone at the back over here. So I don't really know why I did that, but like I just added it. It was like a mistake, but I left it right there. And I did. Oh yeah, I remember. I decided to do the sort of color on her hair to mimic this sort of like environment of loose part inside her hair. And yeah, that was why I did that. So moving from that part, then at this particular part, that's when it all started, where I didn't really know how to composite the background. Like I said, I wanted her to be standing at the back of like an iron in it. So I decided to add this sort of like bright neon sort of colors at the back of the character. So the biggest challenge was like matching the lighting between the character and the environment. Like since this sort of like this since the scene like I'm creating is filled with a lot of neon lightning, like I had to introduce colored sort of like rim lightning to the entire scene. So before I even got to that particular point, I didn't really know how to composite the background, but like I was like I wanted to be outside of that type of like train station or like a wrecked train station, inside a wrecked train I made a stand in before. So I decided to take her out of there and to put her like outside. So I decided to add this sort of like metal giant metal stuff in the background. That's sort of like stuff like I don't know, maybe I've seen it before somewhere, so I just decided to add that to the background and full this entire type of flow with this sort of floorboards and stuff. But I didn't actually know it wouldn't really quite work for me like that. So from there I decided to add this sort of like buildings buildings to what's it called, to this particular top angle. And so for that particular top angle, what this piece actually for me the most is like you should learn to you should learn to show you should learn to establish like your focal point, like decide exactly like exactly where you want your viewers to look at first. So that was what I actually tried to portray right here. I wanted my what the audience are going to see first is this particular area. It's the focal point of this entire painting, so in a way. So before even moving to the character, I first wanted to add this sort of like neon seascape down background at the back there, but like it actually didn't quite really work, cause for this character that's standing right here, if we add too much details to the background right there, it would actually feel too much. Everything will feel too crowded in a way. So I decided to erase that. So as I was going, I decided to erase that. And from there, I started adding the details of this down particular part to that down there. And this particular composition, the mood I was actually aiming for was to create this sort of like bluish, this sort of like a very heavy neon bluish type of lightning in this type of scene. So that was when I was actually adding this sort of a blue light here, blue light there, and blue light here. So to make sure the blue lightning is actually heavy on the character, since I'm not using atmospherical lightning like I told you guys the other time. If I was actually using like an atmospherical lightning, it would actually be more like this. Give me a second. It would actually, the shadows wouldn't actually be strong at all. It would actually be more like something like this. The shadows will actually be much more softer in a way. Then we have this sort of like light passing through the character skin tone, because we have a lot of neon lightning going on around all of the background. So I was supposed to actually use that for this piece, but in a way I actually wanted to control the lightning a little bit. I wanted to stylize the character down a little bit, so that's the reason why I was using more of like a controlled sort of lightning for this particular piece. So for this point I was really thinking what should I add in the background. Then I was like, mate, when this wasn't actually working, then I decided to add this sort of like dark road sort of background, a wet road sort of background. Like I said in the before piece, we got this sort of weather like an evening, cool weather, like it's actually about to rain. So that's the reason why I say like it's actually rained already for this continuation of that piece. So to make it look much more believable and realistic in a way. And so I didn't want so when you trying to create a thing, you must learn to know the focal point of your of what you want your audience to see first, and how to lift their eyes to continue to view your painting in a way. Because when I got to this point, I didn't actually want to just render the full ground to just go like smoothly like that. It actually looked a bit too open in a way. So I decided to add staircase to this whole background. Decided to add the staircase here. So the staircase actually gives the viewer this sort of like rest their eyes a little bit, like stop, then climb, then climb, then climb in a way. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but that was actually what I had in my head. That's the reason why I actually had that in there. So from that point, I was like, I don't want the background to feel too lonely and like, yeah, like that. So I decided to add some people in the background, but before adding some people in the background, I decided to add more details of this sort of like graffiti of this giant neon sign right there. Even though I didn't actually know maybe it would quite work, because I actually had an idea to make it this sort of like orangish type of red color, so it will break away, it will make the piece break a little bit away from the overall deep bright neon blue light. Because when they say neon, I don't know, maybe it's for everybody, but for me, when someone calls the word neon, I always think about blue lightning. So that's the reason why I was using a very heavy blue lightning for this particular piece. And so I never used I left this sort of red fine because it was really taking the more attention away from the character and leading the viewer's eyes to this sort of very red giant graffiti layer right there. So I decided to remove that color and use that blue lightning, that very bright blue lightning I was using. So it was adding much more details to the character's outfit and to the environment. And this particular part, I erased the staircase again because I was like, maybe it wouldn't actually quite work. I wanted to add this sort of like a cop sort of car right here, like a siren sort of cop car right here, to make this scene a bit much more dynamic. Like what she did, the cops are there already, then add this sort of like cops banner thing like this, then like this, like that banner sort of thing, like restricted area. Maybe I should have actually added it even much more like this, because like in a way I actually had an idea to add a little bit just small right in that corner right there. But if I have actually added it much more bigger like this, I'm coming. Yeah, if I have actually added much more bigger like this, I think the scene would have been a bit much more complex and much more beautiful to watch in a way, to look at in a way. But still, I actually like the way it's actually pan out, and so from there. I was adding much more details to the character's skin tone and this sort of like wet background. What actually inspired this idea mostly was this movie called again. God, I can't remember. Yeah, I can't really remember the movie. Yeah, To Be Hero X by this anime To Be Hero X. So the color scheme I made it resemble a bit of a 3D sort of like from To Be Hero X. So for the skin color, I didn't actually want the character to dominate the entire background. Also, I want her to feel like she's actually in the background, not outside of the background. So I was using a colored sort of rim lightning on the characters sort of hair and skin, so to make the character pop out more from the background. Yeah, to make the character pop out more from the background, feel like she's living in the background, she's actually in depth to the background. They added these cast shadows from the sword to the characters ties. Actually, it's really corny. Well then, attention to details. What's it called again? Teddy bear. I added it right there, and yeah. So when I first got to this particular at the ending of the painting, I felt a little bit like, yeah, it's clean already. So then I remember, damn, I forgot a little bit of detail of the scratches she got in the first scene. So I decided to add this sort of like a bit of scratches to this sort of like a hand and when you so to make it look much more realistic and believable like she's a fighter. And like when you guys are actually creating your own character, I would actually advise you, when you add in this sort of like patterns of scratches of wound, you should actually pay more attention to it. You shouldn't add it like this, like that, like this, and like that. It would actually feel a bit too rough, and in a way it would actually show like someone just added this to there and there and there. It wouldn't be realistic. So that's the reason why I decided to add it just for here, and for this particular part I never added anything on this particular tire, and added it on the leg right here to make it feel much more believable in a way. Then added the phone, and yeah, I think I think that's it for this painting, and added this sort of like neon domination sign, like neon is dominating this city. And yeah, I think yeah, I really rushed this piece because I hope this video gets to save, because I don't know why my videos don't save on my phone sometimes if it's too long. Then added these characters to the background, walking characters to the background, and neon graffiti sign. And what actually mostly scared me mostly about my paintings, like when I don't really like to zoom in into my painting, because sometimes I think there are some particular parts I didn't actually really do well, that I wish I had actually done quite better. And those particular parts, like something like this, is really rough. We don't actually really know what's going on in there, so I just left it like that. So I don't really like to zoom into some parts of the paintings. And the most hardest part about this painting is focusing on the perspective of how the ground level, or the ground level works together with the character's leg, because this ground level, I actually added the ground to this particular height before. This ground level was at this particular height before, then it was like the character was floating on air. So the way it gave me a really I'm just really using the word really, it just gave me a really hard challenge to do. It was really a big challenge to do, to get the perspective right. It was really hard to get the perspective right. And yeah, so I think that's it for that. Then adding this sort of like intricate sort of detail. And there are a lot of my, I would actually, cause I didn't actually have a Patreon, and that's why I don't post a lot of my brush strokes, but you can use soft pastel pen. I don't know, maybe that's what it's called. So that actually helps me when doing realistic textures. Like when you zoom into the skin, you see a little bit of purge of the skin texture, like the inner. And I added the chains to the character, the phone, and yeah. So the character, I just wanted her to stand like she's looking for an Uber to take her home, or she's texting a friend, or she's targeting another place she's going to. And added a bag to that particular part. So like I'm saying all of it all together, so I don't actually miss anything. I think that's particularly all for this piece. So like when you're creating a character, a composition, you must focus, you must know, establish your focal point, like I said, block in big shapes, and lay down shapes, simple shapes also. Then guide the eyes with the lines and light. Use perspective, lines, light, direction, and contrast to lead the viewer's eyes. So I think that's all you need to know. Create a mood, focus on your perspective, establishing the focal point. So when you guys look at this piece, the first focal point you look at is this particular top angle, and the next thing I think you're going to look at is down, then moving to the top and to the back. And yeah, I think that's particularly everything. And thank you guys for supporting me on YouTube. Anyhow you can support, leave down, drop your comments, anything you have anything I didn't actually explain, you want me to explain better, I would actually be much more grateful to explain it in the comment section. I'll be happy to do that. And thank you for supporting me. I hope this video is safe, and I hope you guys see this, and I hope this video meets you in a very good spot and very good way. Thank you once more time, and see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.